I just wanted to show you what I'm working on. This is the same bass guitar, but just in a STL format because I wanted to see what had gone wrong with this upper horn when I had routed it. And what had happened was, I mean, I could see this infusion, but now I actually see it. What had happened was this wasn't curled over and rolled over like the bottom was. And so it ended up doing this kind of funky thing and made the cut weird. He fixed it. It's all good now. But this is what it looked like. And when I opened this thing in the STL file and it looked like this, I thought that's kind of a cool pattern. And maybe that would be a good pattern to actually CNC into another bass sometime in the future. What you're seeing down here, it really looks ugly in this format, but this is kind of the Paul Reed Smith style recessed controls. And so that's when I do the real bass, it's going to have this recess in here. And then I'm going to make the knobs for the controls. And I'll probably go ahead and make the pickup covers as well. I'm not sure what I'll make them out of, but something will complement the bass. And I actually finished cutting it out. So here's what it looks like. So I've stuck the truss rod in there just to see if it would fit. And I found out that this area of the truss rod is a little bit larger than the area that I routed for it. It fits the rest of it, obviously. So when I'm going to have to measure this, change my dimensions down here on the real deal, so that fits in there nicely. And I need to give it a little bit more relief. I routed it 1/4 inch wide, 3/8 inches deep. It sits in that pocket just fine. 1/4 inch wide should have been more like a couple of hundredths wider, or a couple of thousandths. Anyway, I'm going to do a test on another piece of scrap wood until I like the fit, and then I'll use those dimensions for the truss rod opening next time. I never did route the graphite rod routing. Once again, I'm going to test that on another piece of wood, just the neck. But it turned out really, really good. I didn't get a picture of it turned around to see the back of the neck. But, oh, yeah, and this part right there. This is what happens when you take a phone call and then you stop your job and then you come back to your job. And when you home the CNC, if you don't pay attention to all the dust that you created, a lot of that stuff can build up in between your linear rail bearings and actually stop it from making the true home position. And that's what happened here. And so when I started the job at where I'd left off, where I'd left off was right about here. And when I started the job, it came to right about here, but it came over farther because my home position was wrong, plunged down and just ran full depth. I was surprised the bit could handle it. I'm glad it was pine wood. But then I stopped it and made some noises and then had to figure out what had happened. And so, yeah, it turned out that I had a whole bunch of saw chips that were stopping the homing position. So that's one problem. Another thing is I got down here, and the reason I poked these holes over here is I wanted to see how thick my control cavity was. And the reason I wanted to see how thick my control cavity was because when it finished doing the control cavity inside from the back, the bit actually came through the front and cut through the front of the guitar. I'm glad it happened on my test piece. So now I have made my control cavity more shallow so that the bit doesn't go as close to the front of the guitar, and it should not have that shouldn't happen the next time. And like I showed you on the drawing, this is where the controls are going to go right here. I thought this was interesting enough to go ahead and make a video since you watched it all the way up to this point. So now I've got to take some time and cut out the mahogany, and I've got to cut out the piece of wood that it's a burl. I can't remember the name of it, but I do have a picture of this. This is about 20 inches long, about 2 inches thick, maybe a little bit more. I'm going to resaw this and open this up like a book and then run it through the planer and glue the edges together, make sure it's on center line, all that good stuff, and glue that to the face of the mahogany. And then before I glue it to the face of the mahogany, I'm actually going to put either a piece of maple if I want a light stripe around the edge, or a piece of wingay if I want something darker like black. I won't know until I put the stuff together. I'm thinking maple was going to be good because mahogany is going to be kind of dark. This is going to be kind of dark, and I think a white stripe around the edge where I'm thinking the maple is going to be, I don't know, an 1/8 inch thick. So basically 3 pieces of wood sandwiched together to make the guitar. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do, um, if I'm not going to do the mahogany, just the solid mahogany neck, I might do mahogany and maple together, or mahogany. And I've got some purple heart. I'm going to play around with some ideas out there, deciding what I want to do on the neck. But anyway, I just wanted to show you what I'm up to and make this video. So thanks for watching. Keep an eye out in the next couple of days for another installment, and I'll check back with you. Stay tuned.